Captain Vex slammed his scaled fist on the metal table, his four eyes blazing with indignation. "We barely escaped with our lives," he roared at the assembled crew. "Those Earth creatures are monsters beyond imagination." The other alien survivors nodded frantically. Lieutenant Kroll's tentacles writhed as she recounted their ordeal. The great cats with their razor claws, the pack hunters with endless stamina, the massive bears that could crush our combat suits. "Don't forget the aerial death dealers," wheezed Engineer Zoth through his breathing apparatus. "Those raptors with talons like plasma cutters and eyes that could spot us from impossible distances." Dr. Sarah Martinez sat quietly in the corner of the diplomatic station's briefing room, sipping her coffee as the Corvani expedition team regaled their audience with tales of Earth's terrifying wildlife. As the only human present, she found their dramatic retelling rather amusing. "And the aquatic beasts," Captain Vex continued, his voice dropping to a horrified whisper. "Prehistoric killing machines with rows of serrated teeth, unchanged by evolution, because they achieved perfect lethality millions of cycles ago." The assembled diplomats from various worlds murmured in sympathy and fear. Earth had been marked as a quarantine world after 3 previous expeditions had reported similar encounters with its apex predators. Finally, Dr. Martinez stood up, setting down her mug with a soft clink that somehow commanded everyone's attention. "Fascinating report, Captain," she said, her voice calm and pleasant. "I'm curious, though, where exactly did your team conduct this survey?" Captain Vex's chest puffed with wounded pride. "We weren't cowards, human. We explored your Africa, your Asia, your ocean territories. We documented your apex predators extensively before we were forced to retreat." Dr. Martinez nodded thoughtfully, then smiled a simple human expression that somehow made several aliens unconsciously step backward. "Ah, I see the confusion," she said, walking casually toward the display screen showing footage from their expedition. "You visited our wildlife preserves, our national parks, our conservation areas." She paused, her smile widening just a fraction. "You met the friendly ones." The room fell silent, except for the hum of life support systems. "Friendly ones?" Lieutenant Kroll's voice barely registered above a whisper. Dr. Martinez gestured to the images of tigers, wolves, and great white sharks on the screen. "These magnificent creatures you encountered, we've spent the last century desperately trying to keep them alive. They're endangered species. We protect them in special reserves because they're too gentle to survive in the modern world." She began pacing slowly, hands clasped behind her back. "You see, what you documented were Earth's former apex predators, the ones that used to rule their ecosystems, before we came along." Captain Vex's scales rippled with confusion. "But surely these creatures were the dominant life forms." "Oh, they were," Dr. Martinez interrupted gently. "For millions of years, perfectly evolved killing machines, just as you described. But they had one critical weakness." "What weakness could such perfect predators possess?" Engineer Zoth asked. Dr. Martinez's expression shifted almost imperceptibly, and something cold flickered behind her eyes. "They weren't as persistent as we were." She turned back to the screen, images cycling through various Earth wildlife. "Cave bears twice the size of any bear you encountered. Gone. Saber-toothed cats with fangs that could pierce mammoth skulls. Gone. Giant crocodiles that dwarfed your prehistoric monsters. Also gone." The silence stretched uncomfortably. All extinct shortly after humans developed cooperative hunting strategies, she continued matter-of-factly. "The pattern is quite consistent across continents and time periods. Megafauna extinction events correlate remarkably well with human migration patterns." Captain Vex was slowly backing away from the human. "Surely that's coincidental." "We didn't set out to eliminate them," Dr. Martinez said, her voice taking on an almost apologetic tone. We just needed to eat, to protect our children, to expand our territories. We were very good at it.
She smiled again, and this time there was something profoundly unsettling about the expression. Earth isn't ruled by predators, Captain. Earth is ruled by persistence hunters who got so efficient at killing that we had to invent ethics and conservation programs to prevent ourselves from accidentally sterilizing our own planet. The alien delegates began activating emergency beacons and defensive protocols. Dr. Martinez picked up her coffee mug and took another sip. "Don't worry," she said cheerfully. "We're quite friendly ourselves. We've learned to channel our hunting instincts into more productive pursuits." She paused, tilting her head thoughtfully. Most of the time, as alarms began sounding throughout the station, Dr. Martinez calmly finished her coffee and headed for the exit. "If you'll excuse me," she called over the chaos, "I have a conservation meeting to attend. We're trying to save the polar bears." The door sealed behind her with a soft hiss, leaving the assembled aliens to contemplate the terrifying realization that they had been afraid of the wrong species entirely.